She's crying herself to sleep. What in God's name would make you think that that's a good thing to tell the world? Why would you do that? You're a young lady, a beautiful young lady who one would surmise completely loves her man and is looking forward to spending the rest of your life with him. Congratulations. But it's about him, not about what other people think about you with him. You got to learn that. When you invite people in your relationships, you're ultimately going to invite them into your marriage. You really, really want that? You don't want that.
I would always tell them, they're like, well, you know, I mean, he's this and he's this and he's this, but he lacks in this. And I'm like, if you think that you have to sacrifice certain things for things that you personally want, then I don't think that it's for you. And here's the thing, like, you're not going to find a person who's going to be like, in a way that a person operates and like the little things that they do.
Just when you thought the drama surrounding Floyd Mayweather couldn't get any more explosive, a new fuse has been lit that is sending massive, unprecedented shockwaves through the entire boxing community. In a move that caught everyone off guard, Stephen A. Smith recently brought Mayweather's own girlfriend onto a high-profile live interview, where she proceeded to pull back the curtain on alleged abuse and shared terrifyingly vivid new details about their spiraling legal nightmare. This unexpected raw appearance added a dangerously volatile layer to the existing controversy as she sat down to—
More than anything, like, money is freedom, money's not happiness, you know? So it's temporary in my opinion. So I would base it on morals, standards, values, how they are as a person, where they come from, their family, how they were as a child.
How long do you think a woman can last in a relationship that has no romantic side to it? Just strictly transactional?
Depends on the woman and how she carries herself.
Okay, thank you, Galia.
Fans, she's been crying herself to sleep over comments made by internet users. What are y'all doing?
As this story caught fire and ripped across every single social media platform, the public's digital jury returned a verdict that was shockingly harsh, undeniably savage, and brutally judgmental. A massive wave of fans, many of whom had openly mocked their relationship from the very start as being built on bags of cash rather than genuine human emotion, immediately swarmed the comment sections with venomous criticism. Some critics didn't hold back, accusing Nabila of staying in the relationship purely for the money Mayweather lifestyle, only deciding to speak up now that the financial foundations are starting to crumble. Others were even more dismissive, suggesting she was strategically piling onto his growing mountain of legal troubles, just as—
They don't mean it. It's to get at you. You could do better. Why you got to be with her? Why can't you be with somebody else? Blah, blah, blah. They gonna do all of that. What you doing? What are you doing? Don't give in to that.
However, the internet wasn't entirely a monolith of hate, and the divide in opinion only made the viral conversation more intense. Some more analytical voices stepped in to express genuine concern, arguing that this entire saga is a tragic cautionary tale about how trusting the wrong circle can lead to devastating, long-term life consequences. On the flip side, the cynical wing of the internet doubled down on their sarcasm, claiming the entire relationship was a business transaction centered around fame and jewelry from day one. Meanwhile, the provocateur Stephen A. Smith has refused to let the fire die down, continuing to put a spotlight on every single—
They think that since they're being upfront and honest about what they want, it's a little more ethical. Do you agree?
I mean, it's never a bad thing to be assertive.
Okay.
But I just personally wouldn't go about it, that way, you know.
So what is the basis you should build a relationship off?
This is such a funny kind of concept.
This should be your most selfish time. You need to think about the people that you're involving in your life. How close-knit they are. Do they keep things internal? They're gonna go on social media and express themselves. You don't need that. You ain't got time for that nonsense. You're trying to get your paper. You're trying to build your career. You're trying to be in the National Football League, bro. You don't need to be coming home after a hard day's work.
Sally Rumors are swirling like a hurricane, with dramatic claims suggesting that Mayweather has been spending a suspiciously large amount of time on foreign soil lately. Reports indicate he's been frequenting luxury hotspots like Dubai, a move that allegedly happened right after federal authorities reportedly executed massive searches at his high-end properties in both Los Angeles and Miami. The tension reached a boiling point when his girlfriend's lawsuit hit the public record, adding a heavy weight to a list of legal battles that is growing by the day, involving high-powered businesses and shadowy organizations. During her high-stakes interview, Nabila didn't
things that they do and like, you know, stuff like that, right? I'm not talking about that. You're talking about someone's character. Like if there's something within their character and deep down of them as a person that deeply affects you, that's not something that you're like, you can't get everything, gotta sacrifice it. No. And then also too, everything else.
Certain things you can't give and take on.
Yeah.
You just won the Heisman. And you on X talking about how, or Twitch, or whatever hell else you were on, talking about how she had to cry herself to sleep? What in this world has told you people are gonna say, oh?
She painted a picture of a deeply disturbed environment where a simple disagreement would almost instantly morph into outright, terrifying aggression. According to her testimony, Mayweather would frequently lose his grip on reality, displaying an intense and uncontrollable rage that manifested in both soul-crushing verbal abuse and physical altercations. But the most chilling part of her account was the aftermath. She claimed that after every single violent episode, Floyd would attempt to buy her forgiveness, showering her with multi-million-dollar gifts and tearful, emotional apologies. It was a
like, for example, like if you, I'm so bad at thinking of just an example off the top of my head like this, but if a man is like, let's just say he like doesn't open the door for you or whatever, right? That's something that he can eventually do, where you can tell him like, listen, this is like the bare minimum for me, this is what I want. But when it comes to something like, you know, I don't know, even like his relationship with his mom, the way that
So cruel. We shouldn't have done that to her. We're sorry. They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that. There's a lot of good, decent people in this world, Travis. But the ones who are the loudest,
Nabila further alleged that this toxic dynamic had been simmering quietly for years and eventually poisoned the larger family environment, even suggesting it was the primary reason Mayweather's children were kept away from their shared home. When she was pressed for hard evidence to back up these heavy accusations, she admitted that there were very few independent witnesses. Most of the incidents, she claimed, happened in the shadows of their private life, with only a small circle of yes men and close associates around, people she firmly believes would never dare to testify against them.
You know, and that's a kind way of putting it. And I will cancel a woman in a heartbeat that talks about my business. She utters my name.
what?
Publicly about us. She gone. I wouldn't hesitate.
She happy for us.
I don't care.
She explained that the psychological pressure had finally become too heavy to carry, especially as the threats and accusations from the outside world began to close in on her. She claimed she was being unfairly linked to alleged wrongdoings by Mayweather's team, and that she now sees the money persona in a completely different, much darker light. She confessed that she once genuinely believed he was a good man at heart and would have protected him at any cost, but recent soul-shattering events finally broke her silence. Whether the court will believe her version of the truth remains to be seen, but this lawsuit has officially added a dark new chapter.
That way.
Come on. Tranquilos.
Irony irony of the situation is almost impossible to ignore, as these explosive claims hit the news just weeks after the couple was seen living it up on a glamorous multi-million-dollar vacation in France. Digital sleuths and fans had been tracking Mayweather as he cruised the French Riviera, flaunting his untouchable wealth on massive yachts. One viral video showed the pair in Monaco, where Nabila was spotted wearing a timepiece valued at nearly $190,000, while Floyd himself trailed behind with an $80,000 watch on his wrist. The footage captured a moment of pure, unadulterated...
Hey, on crie pas s'il vous plaît, ça l'énerve. S'il vous plaît.
Tenez, je vous les laisse. Je peux vous les laisser. Mais il va arriver là. Non, mais parce que...
On peut essayer.
It's been a really crazy day, but when you have good company, it's really never a stress. I got 3 hours of sleep because you can sleep when you die. Good morning, guys.
Their relationship, which first surfaced in 2019, has always been a strange mix of deep privacy and loud, extravagant public displays of wealth. Who could forget the 2022 birthday gift where Mayweather famously handed Nabila the keys to a brand new custom Mercedes Maybach? These flex moments have fueled years of speculation from fans who questioned the real power dynamic behind the scenes. Some have joked that Floyd's gifts are more like rent than a present, with the underlying suggestion that these lavish toys could be taken back the second an argument got too heated. This pattern of high-end gift giving But beneath the surface of the private jets, the rare jewels, and the perfectly curated Instagram posts, a much more sinister story was beginning to leak out. Fresh reports are now alleging that during one particularly explosive confrontation at Mayweather's sprawling Las Vegas estate, things got so violent that it happened right in front of his own team and security staff. According to those inside sources, the argument turned physical fast, with claims that Nabila was pushed and struck hard enough to leave visible, undeniable injuries before anyone finally stepped in to stop the champion. It was further reported that she reached out to the police shortly after that night, and as the layers of this story are peeled back, it's becoming clear that this was not a one-time mistake.
I look at it like this, like I feel as if a woman works really, really hard, is ambitious, and has a good job for herself, and I feel like personally for me, like I work really, really hard, so I feel like I deserve someone who works really, really hard.
Okay.
So I feel like if you kind of like have and like maintain those own qualities yourself, I feel like it's okay to kind of look for that in someone else, but money isn't the exact term that I would use. I would use someone who's like a hard worker and someone who grinds, and so I deserve that reciprocation of somebody.
Okay.
The allegations didn't stop at physical violence. Nabila also claimed that Mayweather used his massive influence and power to pressure her into staying silent, often using their massive 22-year age gap as a psychological leverage. Point: at 47 years old, Mayweather is more than double the age of his 25-year-old partner, a fact that sources close to federal authorities say is being looked at as a sign of an unbalanced, controlling relationship. As the case potentially heads toward a federal courtroom, where a judge will decide if Floyd's perfect record will finally be tarnished by a legal L, the situation stands in shocking contrast to the playful, happy couple we saw on social media just a few months ago.
Okay. So recently on TikTok, there's been a trend of women creators encouraging other women to like necessarily engage in practices where they don't date the man for romantic interest, but rather money. Do you think that's a healthy way to conduct a relationship?
No.
Which which now feels like a bizarre fever dream, featured the couple answering couples questions in a rare, intimate look at their daily lives. Mayweather, usually the most guarded man in sports, seemed unusually relaxed, even playful, as he participated in the viral game. When the questions asked who was more likely to tell a lie or who was the bigger eater, Floyd jokingly pointed the finger at Nabila with a smile. He proudly claimed the titles for being more stylish and for holding the longest grudges, which actually felt quite honest given his public persona. But the real surprise came when Nabila labeled the toughest man on earth as the more sensitive one in the relationship, and they both openly agreed that Floyd would be the strict parent if they ever had kids. However, the one question that broke the internet was about who was the more smart one academically. Next voice. That one single question triggered a landslide of memes across every social platform, with fans jumping at the chance to roast the undefeated champion. The internet's memory is long and unforgiving, and within minutes, the comment sections were flooded with references to Floyd's infamous struggle.
It's so interesting, I feel like, when it comes to like what basically are the characteristics that I would love like in a man. I mean, also one thing that I would say, just to even answer your initial question, is I feel like when it comes to dating someone kind of within your industry and not, like I have dated someone within my industry and I've dated someone who's not in my industry, and you actually would think that dating someone in your industry is better because they understand it
yeah.
and they get it, but it's actually, I feel like the opposite. I actually feel like it's better to date someone who actually is not in your industry.
Floyd was struggling with basic literacy. Even in the new TikTok video, fans were quick to point out that when asked about being superstitious, both Floyd and Nabila seemed confused by the word, leading to another wave of mockery about their combined education levels. Next voice, it is important to remember that Gallian Nabila is just the latest name in a very long and very complicated list of women in Floyd's life. His history is intertwined with the late Josie Harris, the mother of 3 of his children, whose relationship was marked by extreme legal drama. He also shares a daughter, Ayana, with Melissa Brim. Since 2019, Nabila has managed to stay in.
They don't get it, and they kind of are like, this is your world, like you do it, you know, because I don't understand it.
If you find somebody that confident enough to say like you do it.
And security is obviously extremely important, you know, but then, you know, when you date somebody who obviously is in your industry, it's almost like they know of what goes on, what could happen, and this and that, and so I feel like they're a little bit more insecure, actually.
That's a good point.
And so I feel like I've witnessed that throughout my life. But for me, qualities that I look for in a man, I, for some reason, obviously got to, you know.
The picture, even while Floyd was being linked to other women like Anna Monroe. They've been seen everywhere, from courtside at NBA games to the most expensive shopping malls in the world. But while they looked solid on the outside, the walls were clearly closing in. And despite the chaos, Nabila has managed to maintain a high-profile career as a Wilhelmina model, proving she is a powerhouse in her own right. Next voice, her resume is actually quite impressive, having worked with massive global brands like Kai, Anastasia Beverly Hills, and Fashion Nova. She isn't just a girlfriend, she's a top-tier influencer with a massive following who has built her own independent wealth. In 2023, she launched Gallian's Girls, a nonprofit aimed at helping young women find their confidence